We have to fight for him, not worry about the other side. And by the way, women are for that more than anybody would understand.
For days, President Trump has been restrained in his comments on the Kavanaugh case. That's now changing. Today on Twitter, the president went after Kavanaugh's accuser, Christine Blasey Ford, writing that he has no doubt that if the attack was as bad as she says, charges would have been immediately filed. He also wrote that Kavanaugh is under assault by radical left-wing politicians who don't want the answers. They just want to destroy and delay. Susan Collins, a moderate Republican whose vote is crucial to Kavanaugh's confirmation, called Trump's tweet about Ford appalling. The president had previously been careful not to attack Ford.
We want to give tremendous amounts of time. If she shows up, that would be wonderful.
But he began to harden his language last night.
Why didn't somebody call the FBI 36 years ago? I mean, you could also say, when did this all happen? What's going on? To take a man like this and besmirch. Now, with that being said, let her have her say.
And it's not just the president taking a harder line. While many Republicans say they want the truth, the party's top senator implied Kavanaugh will be confirmed no matter what.
You've watched the fight. You've watched the tactics. But here's what I want to tell you. In the very near future, Judge Kavanaugh will be on the United States Supreme Court.
Kavanaugh himself has spent the week at the White House preparing his defense.
The hearing will be about this sexual assault allegation, but all of this latest maneuvering shows it will also come down to a bitter partisan battle with a lifetime seat on the Supreme Court at stake. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
So as we mentioned, after the president's tweet this morning, the hashtag #WhyIDidn'tReport started trending both in the United States and here in Canada, with thousands of women and men explaining to Donald Trump and others inclined to question Judge Kavanaugh's accuser why not reporting doesn't mean that nothing happened. We want to share a few of those tweets with you, as read by some of our colleagues. So have a listen, because the reasons for not reporting are as varied as those who offer them, but some themes stand out. For some, not reporting has been about a lack of faith in the justice system.
Because I didn't want to be put on trial and publicly smeared.
Last Friday, I had a police officer ask me why I didn't report about an assault that happened 10+ years ago. What's happening right now surrounding Kavanaugh is why.
Others say they didn't report because they blamed themselves.
I felt so stupid putting myself in the position where it could happen.
Because I didn't fight or scream. I just prayed it would be over as quickly as possible and then thought my lack of protest would be considered consent. Only in the past couple of years am I able to admit to myself that it was assault that happened 27 years ago.
Then there are those people tweeting about incidents that happened when they were so young.
My mom said she would kill anyone who hurt me, and at 9 years old, I believed her. I was afraid she would go to jail.
Because I literally didn't know there was a word for what happened. It wasn't until years later that I learned there was a word for what I experienced.
And of course, so many assaults involve people in positions of trust. Reporting that, so much easier said than done.
Because he was a close friend who I had been supporting through his breakup, because I had been drinking, because I couldn't believe that it had happened, because I've been conditioned to believe I asked for it. That was 1,784 days ago.
Because he was my partner and I thought I loved him. I thought he made a mistake and I sympathized with him instead of prioritizing myself.
Finally, many people today use the #WhyIDidn'tReport hashtag to say the opposite, that they had reached out for help. Here's one. I did call. They called it mischief. I slept with a knife. One more note on this story. The chair of the U.S. Senate Judiciary says a vote on Kavanaugh's nomination will be held on Monday if a deal can't be reached with Ford to testify before the committee.